Hey guys, welcome to Serial Killer.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Caught me pulling a thread off my sweatshirt that hastily.
You're obsessive, like a killer yourself, and we can't have that there or the show will be awful.
Everyone saw the thread. Everyone!
Then
We
Anastasia and I
started
are
talking
dead.
and I was like, nah, I was looking somewhere else. Like, fucking pulling at my shirt.
But you know, the audio people don't know
It's
all
true,
of
they
this,
don't know.
But now they do. Now they do.
I feel like one day we should pull one of those pranks like Jim does on The Office when they're on the conference call. And it's just like, Dwight, what are you doing? Put your shirt back on.
Oh, we should.
Do you guys have audio people? You have a whole team?
Yes.
Yes,
a
a
whole
whole
crew.
crew.
Don't you see them?
Oh, I see the little booth in the back,
Yeah,
actually.
exactly.
I didn't.
We're very high budget.
It's been a long day. I apologize. I'm not as observant.
We should introduce ourselves.
Thanks.
I'm Anastasia,
I am Maria.
and we have a guest.
Yes!
Hello, I'm Zeyne.
And we have talked about him quite a bit at the podcast.
I have caught up. I have seen it. My life has been affected by these two women in terrifyingly unpredictable ways.
And so we
It's
decided
true.
to have him on Serial Killer, again, the podcast where we pair serial with the true crime.
Yeah. Yes.
And this is our holiday, one of our holiday episodes, which I'm so excited for our holiday episodes. I don't
love
know
them.
why I love them so much.
I'm such a fan of them.
Like, can we just do this all the
Just
time?
a bunch of
No.
just
Tis the
like-
season. No, yes, absolutely.
Just 10 minutes real quick on a bunch of murders.
I just love it. I'm ecstatic. Ecstatic?
I don't know if you can say you're ecstatic about murder.
It's too late.
It's
already
out there
happened.
now. Yeah,
I
I'm just
know,
sitting
I
here
know.
like, I'm awfully close for someone who's ecstatic about murder.
murders.
Yeah, right.
Although this week it's not necessarily murders.
No,
curses.
it's curses. We're gonna do
Curses.
Hollywood curses, and who better to have on our show for Hollywood curses than a fellow actor, Zane?
Yeah.
But before we get into all of that, and before we get into our serial,
That's right.
I think we should, we need to have you describe what we did to you.
That sounds
Let's start with
way
this. That's-
creepier
yeah.
than it actually is.
What did we do to
You make it sound like we tied him up in a basement somewhere.
Not
Believe
yet.
it or not,
We can't even do because California doesn't.
without
Start
even
slow.
verbally addressing me or even physically touching me, my heart, like I had a heart murmur for 45 minutes, and I really was just in this terrible, terrible, deep place of like, what is going on, and who is this interested in like breaking into
Messing,
my
yeah.
room? So I guess I should point out that to set the scene, to set the mood of it all.
Set the scene.
In my bedroom, I do have a television that kind of sits lower. It's not on a traditional stand; it's on a coffee table
not
because I'm
traditional.
poor.
Yeah, no.
It's
who
like
can
it's
afford-
nouveau millennial poor. Do I need to? I'm a very loud person.
Mounting.
Good. Okay. All right. So I have a rather large flat screen, kind of low to the ground, and I say that because it's like even to like lay in bed and like watch TV. You can't see if there's anything
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
it because it's
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Which how long had it been there?
I mean,
A
we did at
few
least
weeks.
4 episodes. Disgusting.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. Well,
it
I
was
wasn't
like a
watching at the
couple
time. I
weeks.
watched the first episode and loved it, and then you guys were off and running. And then just a lot happened because like I went away for a wedding,
Yes.
and I came back, and I was around for a good week or two.
Yeah, because we were like secretly wondering when or like if you were
And
gonna
we kept
find
asking,
it.
like, Blake,
Yeah,
we're
we're
like,
like,
Blake,
did
did
you-
you find it?
Well, right, and he and to Blake's credit said nothing.
Yes,
he
was
said
very
nothing
good.
about this. I didn't know nothing. Okay, so Blake also, who is a fan of the show, does
Yes,
a
on
podcast.
our other podcast.
We have a podcast all together,
Yeah.
and so he is often recording in the room next to the living room. So for a
Mhm.
good hour, I can't say anything. And in
It's true.
this hour, I said to myself, I'm gonna go through and just make sure I loaned out some Blu-rays. And I'm like,
Okay.
oh, I'm looking for a couple that I think are gone, and that is right next to the television. And I literally, they start recording, they do their sound test, they're off and running. I'm in my room. Oh, I'm looking for this and that, and I can't find my daughter cut of Superman. You know, which you need to,
Right,
you must know where it is.
Right, we gotta know.
And that's when a bright blue box caught my eye. And you just,
Not sexually.
you know, No, it was not a Blue Choice
It
ribbon
wasn't
box.
Smurfette.
No.
No.
Not even a kink of mine. Not even a small little fetish. I mean a cardboard box, and you just know your own environment.
Oh yeah, you knew you didn't put it there. You
Fuck
knew.
no.
You
I
had
had no idea.
What if you were like really high and put it there?
Well, let's just okay. So I was high when I
Fair.
found it. I was a little stoned.
God,
I
I'm so
was.
sorry.
It's okay. It's fine.
No, that's panic attack inducing.
It was because I immediately
Yep,
I
yep,
started
yep.
pacing and I was like, who could have gotten in my room?
Why
See, what
did they
what
do
exactly
this?
what is this? And then I was like, because then I was even afraid to open the box. I thought it was gonna
Is
be
it
full of
actually
bugs.
Cookie Crisp?
Yeah, well it was like if it's Cookie Crisp and it's just been sitting here, I could have roaches. I could have
No, it was sealed.
no, it was sealed in rubber
Anastasia's
band.
mom sealed it.
It was perfectly sealed, but for a minute there I was like, it could be a trap. There could be a note in there. This
Stick my
could
hand
giant
in, it
mouse
could
trap
bite
and
me.
you're the
Yeah,
mouse?
exactly.
my heart rate was elevated, and I couldn't just go out of the living room and talk to Blake and be like, "Who was in my room?" Because he's recording, and I have to be quiet. So I'm texting my other roommate frantically and being like, "Yo, did you like lose some Cookie Crisp?" Which like people immediately, oh yeah, they were like. There were a couple people I texted like, "Did you lose some Cookie Crisp in my room?" And they're like, "Is this sexual slang for something? Like, do I is it like
Are you inviting me over?
are we all losing Cookie Crisps in each other's rooms now? Is that what the kids say?" So
You are young. You should know the hip slang.
I mean, right. But this is how long has it been there? Who? Why? What message is being sent? The circuit board in my brain. It crashed. It crashed. I didn't know what to do, and I just had to sit there frantically sweating it out for 30 minutes, 45 minutes until this podcast ended. And then I came out, and then he just played with it. He's like, "I got no idea. I don't know what you're talking about." I got no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my god.
And then when he saw how distraught he was just like,
oh.
"Okay, all right, Anastasia and Maria." Put it in there. And then I was just like,
You were
those
gonna
sons of
We were gonna
bitches.
leave more.
We were. And
We
then,
had, like,
and then
3
Terrence
boxes.
saved you because Terrence was like, "I'll eat them."
Well, yeah, right. Well, then Blake
Yep.
was like, "So what do we do with this Cookie Crisp? Do I throw it out?" And I was like, "No, you don't throw it out.
It's
It
clearly
had been
fine.
very sealed. It wasn't past the date. I ate it over the course of 3 to 5 nights."
So it was a
Nice.
terror that kept on giving.
You just look immediately. You think you just know that something's out of place, and then it's like it's in a spot where I don't readily look, and I couldn't see it. So it's like, how long has this been sitting there?
Yep.
Years?
Oh,
Could it have been
it was just
years?
guys.
It was just.
I once put cheese that smelled horribly. I didn't do this. My boyfriend did this.
I was
Put
gonna
it
say,
in our neighbor's
what the
fridge.
hell?
Put cheese in our neighbor's fridge. They didn't find it for months. It actively smelled.
Ew.
You
They
have to go
didn't
looking for
find
that
it.
stuff.
That's cruel.
No, because the minute you took the cheese out of the fridge, because it was originally smelly cheese in our fridge, and we took it out and our fridge smelled fine.
I don't go
That's
just
it.
smelling fridges, even my own. I don't like to smell the inside of a fridge. I think it's too much
No, you
of a
gotta.
potpourri. And then the Freon, it
You
just
gotta
smells awful.
Every so often you have to smell the inside of your fridge, because then otherwise you will never know.
That's what you would do if you were a killer, wouldn't it? You would kill them and then
And
you
then
would
we
just like
leave them in my
just
fridge.
like, oh, she left the door open. She must have been inhaling the smells of the fridge for at least an hour before she left.
Can I confess something here?
Oh
Do
God,
you
you're not a
love to
fridge
smell your
sniffer,
fridge?
are you?
No. Okay,
Freezers.
so
It's
I
freezers.
think I'm a little bit. So every time I shop for something, anytime I go to the grocery store or
Do
anything,
you smell it?
it doesn't even matter if it's a box. I usually shake it and then smell it, and my mom laughs so freaking much.
That's amazing.
You're smelling the cardboard though.
I
don't
love that.
know. It's just like I just like, and I don't even know that I'm doing it. I'm
Or
just
like-
like walking around, shake, shake.
So,
You just like you went to this, you were brainwashed at some camp as a
Amazing.
child, and now you just have to do this.
yeah, there's no other
The
way for you to
shaking,
smell
the
it.
shaking, I can understand.
My sister does the shaking.
See, I don't understand the shaking.
Well, that's like, is it in there?
She
Is the
shakes.
right amount in there? I've held
No.
up a box of Lucky Charms. Is this like all the other boxes of Lucky
Yeah,
Charms?
but like,
Or are they
That is
screwing
so
me?
funny that he said that.
Is it the cereal today?
That is our
Yay!
cereal.
I thought it was Cookie Crisp again, and I was like, I've had a lot of Cookie
Oh my
Crisp, but
God,
I'll
no.
eat some more. I don't mind.
I'm gonna justify this.
Okay, go for
Okay,
it.
so we've been doing all the holiday cereals, and the reason I picked Lucky Charms,
holiday.
cinnamon vanilla Lucky Charms
Yes.
Oh my
limited
God.
edition, is because if you're cursed, you're not lucky. Or
There you
to
go.
not be
You need a
cursed.
Lucky Charm.
Were
need
you
a
looking
lucky
for a
charm.
There you
thesis?
go.
That's it.
You got
That's
it.
the show
You
tonight.
got there. There's also a
I
game
think
on
it's
the
pretty
back.
good.
There are 2 games on the back.
And
Let me look.
I
Let me
did
take a
them in
look.
like
They're not
5
good games.
seconds.
Yeah, they're
Um,
really easy. There's a search game, and then you have to match the snowman with the kid.
Well, these are supposed to be done within the
When you're
duration of a
eating
bowl
cereal,
of cereal, right? Like that's right.
I'm
But
gonna
then
guess,
I would
yeah.
eat really fast.
I mean, I normally did, but that's because public schools like don't allow kids to have a long enough lunch.
It's true. You get like 25 minutes.
And
for
it's
lunch.
like if you want to
And,
go
like,
outside and play, it's like
you
you have
gotta
to eat
eat.
faster. It's
and
like
you have
so.
to bring your lunch because waiting in line takes
Now
up all
I'm a
of your lunch.
28-year-old and
No,
I
you eat
can't
really
sit
fast.
patiently at a restaurant like
And
a
just
normal adult.
Oh, I have a friend who eats
I
so
agree.
slowly that like people stopped going out to eat with him because they were like, "We're gonna be here for
don't
3
like
hours.
that.
I can't
He's
do
one at a
this."
time. I can't do that shit.
I used to think I ate
it's-
fast
He's
because
very
my family
southern.
eats slow. Like, yeah, they're
Interesting.
southern.
Yeah.
And they used to like kind of guilt me about it, and I was like, I don't eat that fast.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
just
fat.
eat
I'm
like
just-
normal.
You're eating.
Compared to
You're eating
you.
the food to eat food, and
Yeah.
they're like, and it's like for some people, it's like, well, it's a meal. We want to
Enjoy
savor and
it.
suckle. It's like, what
I
is
wanna
This is
live
a
my life.
McDonald's
What is
Happy
wrong with
Meal.
you?
I
Thank
want
you.
to live my fucking life, not at this restaurant.
I'd like to be anywhere else.
I do
I
want to
savor
leave as
drink a little
soon.
bit.
No, I mean like as soon as the food is even come out, I'm like, just bring the check too. Bring it as a little side dressing
I'm
for the
not
table.
that
And
bad.
so we're ready to go. We're gonna go. Like,
No.
do you
When
guys?
we brunch hard.
do you- so I love I love Seinfeld personally, and I think just because Jerry Seinfeld on the show ate so much cereal and was like the first person I ever saw like ordering cereal out at a
At
restaurant.
like a restaurant.
Do either
Oh,
of you?
I've
Do
done it.
either of you
I-
order cereal out to eat?
I did that once.
cereal.
Not continental hotels. Not
No,
like I'm staying. I'm gonna order it.
Did that once at a like a diner place,
They
and
fucked it up,
my
didn't they?
parents and the waiter were like, "Are you sure about that?"
They questioned you.
They were like,
You
"No,
know why they questioned
was
you?
like,
Because you
I
didn't
was
buy
ordering cereal at a restaurant."
because
Yes.
you didn't order a good cereal, did you? Come on.
Oh, I mean the options were like Raisin Bran, like
Can't
Cheerios,
go wrong with Raisin
What did
Bran.
you do?
corn flakes.
And what did you do?
I got Cheerios. Just so weird.
I got Cheerios.
Yeah.
No, they were all like, "This is weird. You're ordering cereal at a restaurant."
So
like,
then my second
why are
question
you
is,
doing
when you
this?
ordered it, did they bring you the small box that accompanied the bowl, or did they like bring you a bowl
I
with a
remember
little
a
thing
bowl.
of milk?
I remember,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was a bowl full of cereal because it was like a bowl this size, full to like almost the
And was
top.
it stale?
And then I don't
Was
remember.
it stale,
I did
Clarice?
not
I'm doing a
finish.
squid pro row with you right now.
I didn't finish it. My dad ended up finishing it.
Did you slurp the milk,
Oh my
Maria?
God, gross.
when you... Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry,
Exactly.
we
Thank
can't
you.
open cereal boxes on air, but you can make that noise.
I don't know.
You really can't? Oh, is that a
No,
thing?
We've started
We've-
opening them away from the
I
microphone.
have to edit this.
Yeah, and then
It
just
drives
the
me
noise is
insane.
What,
loud.
well, then what are all this team of people doing
Oh.
if you're editing it? Who the
They're-
fuck are
They're
these
handling
people?
the on-site.
I don't
audio.
believe this. Such like a Hollywood
They're
set.
fluffers.
10 people to stand around and
Exactly.
do jack
They're
shit
just
while
our
the rest of us
fluffers.
work.
Yeah.
Didn't you get fluffed before you came
No,
on?
I didn't.
Oh, oops.
Oh, you went through the wrong entrance.
Janet.
I was late. Don't blame
Janet.
Janet. Blame me. I was
Janet.
late. It's not Janet's fault. She's
Fucking
lovely.
Patrice. It was fucking Patrice, wasn't
I
it?
haven't even met Patrice yet.
That's
Exactly.
no, no, no.
Then maybe that's on Patrice. I can't
Uh,
speak to that.
So,
So, cinnamon vanilla Lucky Charms limited edition. I want to put limited edition over and over again.
Does it say
What?
it?
It's
Where
on
does it say it? Is it on the
Every-
box?
It is. It's on the corner.
Is there some cereal vault like the Disney movies
Yes.
go into?
They
Oh,
go
That's
in
just
and they never
asinine.
come out.
It's just cinnamon. You can sprinkle them up yourself if you
Cinnamon
want it.
your
Yeah,
own
sniff it.
Lucky
I
Charms.
do. All right, that's not bad. That's
It
a
smells
good.
a lot
That's a
like
good
box.
smell.
Yeah, it does. You get a lot of box smell because it's just like a sugary
box.
cereal. There's so
I
many,
buy it.
so
So
many
boxy.
cereals that we smell
Not
that I'm just
bothered
like,
by it.
I only smell a cardboard box.
All right, now we gotta get a little bit dry. Ew.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I was
I
gonna
just
say.
don't want to talk anymore.
I don't. You've just been so inappropriate since I've arrived.
Not
Even the
me.
dog's offended. They're barking at
She's
you.
always offended.
Here you go.
Fiona
Would you like some
said-
more? Here we
Pour it
go.
out. Pour it out.
Do it. I will not
That's
be
good.
having.
That's enough.
Well, you said
Jesus
what? You were
Christ.
singing "Pour It Out" like it was
Oh, yeah.
Usher lyrics, and then you were just, and then it was too much.
It was too much. You should know. All right, I'm gonna try it dry. And not. In,
That's
in the-
actually really good. That's utterly delicious, magically delicious. I mean, it's utterly.
I'm not sure, you guys.
Well, okay. You know normal Lucky Charms,
Yeah, I don't like it.
They suck. They suck without the marshmallows. These are like,
It's
oh,
true.
if I don't get any marshmallows,
Yeah.
I'm not that upset.
Yeah, it's like cinnamon sugar Cheerios.
I think the key is
Not
getting the
everything's
cinnamon.
about churros, Maria!
Everything should be about Cheerios.
Yeah,
They're
how's
good
your
for
heart?
your heart.
I was like, how's your heart? You're over here.
Perfect.
Yeah.
How's your cholesterol?
Well, some
I've
of us
never
need
had
the
a
Cheerios.
cholesterol problem.
We need the
Yes.
Cheerios.
I thought you were saying you've never had a cholesterol test, and I was about to be like, oh, maybe not a great idea.
I may not have any blood, but high blood pressure,
Not an
and
issue.
cholesterol, not a problem. Diabetes, not a problem. There's no blood in there, okay?
So I wonder.
It's just
I'm
sand.
not real.
And she's 176 years old. It's just sand.
I
You're
sold
like the-
my soul long ago. All right, milk.
For this podcast?
No.
no.
Yeah, I'd say that's you got a shitty deal.
Yeah.
You sold your soul
No.
for this podcast. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What is that shape?
What?
What are the shapes?
Oh, there's the marshmallows.
Is it a fish?
Yeah, I honestly have never known
Well, this is
what the
we
shapes
have a
of.
snowman with a hat.
No, I think she
No,
means
of
the
their
actual.
cereal.
Cereal. 'Cause
Those
it's
are
like-
just omega and alpha Greek
like
letters of
weird.
the alphabet. So we're brainwashing the children.
Is it a Jesus fish? Am I eating a Jesus fish?
You
Yes.
get hexed and cursed. Oh wait,
Yes,
no,
you
wait.
are.
One's a bell.
One's a tree.
One's just an
thought.
X. That's lazy.
I don't know if I like it.
It's good, though. What's that?
I don't know if I like it, you guys.
Is it that difficult to? I think it's definitely on the better end of cereals I've had. We could be eating
I'll eat
kasha.
it.
Do you want kasha?
Kind of.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
You were over here when we got that special K, being like, "Do we need sugar for this?"
That Special K was
That
really
Special
good,
K was good.
though. I fucking love that Special K.
It probably wasn't.
It was really good.
Did you not even milk it?
No. I'm not doing the milk.
Oh,
I do the cereal dry.
okay.
Is that wrong? Like, look at me like I'm some weirdo. I'm not the one smelling the
That's not how
box.
cereal works.
You're supposed to smell the box. How do you know if it's good?
Experience. Yeah, like
Do I need
smelling
that?
the cork when
All
you
right,
get
okay,
nice
fine.
wine. I have no idea.
You don't have to.
Nope, we're doing it.
I
No.
Do you want some more of it? I'm not gonna finish it off.
No, it's fine.
I'm not putting the microphone down though. I'm gonna spill this all over the floor.
What?
This is another cereal because of the marshmallows that turns your milk a weird color. Be forewarned. Some people like that, some
Yeah.
people don't. It's like
It does look gray.
yeah, it turns like a weird gray because of the blue snowflakes that look like suns that are probably just the
I
suns
don't
but blue.
understand the
Looks like
shapes of the
Rick
cereal.
Sanchez's head.
Okay, so what do we say? You guys say a knife up for both?
I'll say knife up dry and knife up wet. Yeah.
Oh, definitely a double knife up. Considering how, for a limited time cereal, it kind of puts the original to shame.
I know.
Oh.
That's a
Marble
hard
Lucky
task.
Charms, not as good.
No, and like, don't they have the Oops All Marshmallows?
They do.
Which is just a bag of marshmallows. What the fuck?
Just
Are
go-
they?
Why
What
would
are the
you
kids
also-
eating?
that?
So I'm still eating the grainy marshmallow, the grainy cereal, and the
These
cinnamon's masking it. I think it works.
Marshmallows are like subpar marshmallows if you're just trying to eat marshmallows. Like there are way better bags of marshmallows you can buy.
They're always so dry, and they dissolve instantly.
I don't
Instantly.
want it. I don't want any of it.
It's like, you know how you have like your cereals that I classify as like the roof cutters, where they like will
Yes.
cut the roof of your mouth if you
Destroy
just
it.
go right into it.
Uh-huh.
Like Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes, the bad culprit. Captain Crunch.
Yes,
Always
thank you.
cut your gums.
I was just talking about that.
But I love Frosted Flakes so much.
Well, I love them too. But you gotta let it sit.
Yeah,
You know,
get a little
just-
mushy, yeah.
Just like one of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims, you wanna cool it in the fridge
Put it
for a
right
good
in that
long
fridge.
while until it's just right. Then you drill a hole and have sex with that hole. That's his way. I'm not saying that's his way. You know.
I don't know. My favorite was the Iceman, who was like, "Well, what if I just put them in this freezer and thaw them out, and no one will know when they
You know,
die?"
I
That
never
was
really
fucking
got
brilliant.
that. Like he
I
had
like
some
that.
weird like Victor Freeze fetish where it's like
No, that was
he's
just
reciting
smart.
Arnold
This was
Schwarzenegger,
just
Batman and Robin,
intelligent
like
murdering.
freeze, and then he's just like leaving them in the freezer.
No, it
That
was smart. He was
smart.
also a hitman. He
Who
wasn't
was he? Oh, that's
going
right,
up
that's
to
true.
anyone being
And
like,
he
"Hey, bro."
also may have been present for Jimmy Hoffa.
But right.
Which, if you watched The Irishman, good for you. I did it in a theater. Do you know how fucking long that movie is?
I did it.
3.5 hours.
I did it on a connecting flight from Chicago to LA
Oh, that's
on a
smart.
6-inch screen.
Oh, well,
Martin Scorsese's rolling in his early grave.
I retweeted.
He's always rolling.
It's just not fair. It's not fair. They have to go to a theater.
I retweeted someone who took a screenshot of the Netflix logo on their Wii and was like, how Martin Scorsese intended it.
Can I just say, if I was going to be a murderer, it would be like The Irishman, where it's just like, I would just walk up and shoot him in the head and
walk away.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, Son of Sam did that, and it worked for him for
but
a long
I'm not
time.
blaming it on the dog.
Berkowitz
was nuts. And I love that they did Mindhunter season
so good.
2.
Oh, so good.
Because that's a side of the Berkowitz that I've never fully seen before. The one that's like a little bit into the self-admitting, where it's like, yeah, you know, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
So, is he your favorite?
Berkowitz?
Yeah.
No, I would say I look the most like him. Am I wrong or no? Have you
You're
guys
not
said
wrong.
this?
No,
we did not say this, but we have an idea.
We have an idea, and we want to cast you as one of the serial killers, and we don't know which one you look like.
I think I look more like Berkowitz. I think I have a little bit of a rounder face, and I think I have the fluffier
I
hair.
say you can if you grow it out.
I could do that a little bit
Do you
more.
like dogs? Do you like dogs?
I do, you know, and I do like
You
his,
feel
like,
like
you know,
white
I made a deal with Satan, and, like, he told me to shoot this whore, and I went and did it, and it was like, whoa, man.
You cast!
I would like to be vain enough to be like, ooh, Ted Bundy, because I'm just there with the
so
looks.
Why does everyone think he's so cute?
Because the women in the
was.
court were swooning over him, and they were talking about how he was strangling
He
people.
was cute. Women today are still getting on board to
Women
fuck that
marry
dead.
people in jail all the time.
Oh yeah, Charlie Manson.
They're sick. Okay? They're
The
sick.
Charlie Manson one, I don't understand it.
my
That little man
favorite-
never did anything.
He's weird. My favorite is the luchador grandma
Who got married in
got
jail?
married in jail
He has
and
a
then makes
business.
tamales. Yeah, and is like fucking crushing it in her jailhouse food game. It's so
She
weird.
got
Gotta
a
have
man
hobbies.
and a career.
All in prison.
All in prison.
I don't remember. No, I think the one that scares me the most is John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
And kids,
That's
and
so
just I think it's the
clown.
most like the
Crossface.
most vulnerability is like in all of
And men.
those.
It was a bull.
Yeah, and then like I was reading or watching something, and I don't want to sound stupid, but I think it is, and I'm just gonna go for it. But someone that was communicating with him, and like he asked for a picture of his son, and he gave it to him.
Don't ever.
And
No.
he was painting in jail, and he like painted a picture based off the picture of something, and it was like, and I was like, I can't believe you've given your own son's picture to this monster that you're like.
Dude.
And John Wayne Gacy considered him friends. I can't remember fully what I saw in it, but it
Super
was
creepy.
something that I'm like,
He also raped a journalist in jail.
are you serious?
Do that.
Yeah. The same
Terrible
way that,
guards.
like,
Jerry Epstein is
people
dead.
had sex.
Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Jerry, no, I knew him personally. He was a monster. I
You call
wanted
him
that
Jerry.
man. I wanted that man in chains in 2003. Back
You
when I was a
wanted a
5th
farce.
grader, and I met him on a field trip in
He's
DC.
an Epstein hipster.
I told my teacher, I said, put that man in jail. The way
He
he's looking at
molests
my
children.
classmates right now is making me uncomfortable. And now look, Jerry Epstein's dead. Did he kill himself?
No.
Absolutely not.
Speaking of Hollywood curses.
Hollywood!
So I got really obsessed this Halloween with Hollywood curses because they had E Hollywood. I know, I love E. I love
I was gonna say you love those E True Hollywood.
I'm really big into them too.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love that
Oh,
shit.
VH1
about
behind the music was my shit. I loved it.
He's great. So I'm pulling from an article from mirror.co.uk.
.co.uk.
Completely legitimate.
It's the UK Mirror. It's like an
But
actual
I'm also,
publication.
I'm also going to be pulling from my brain and my
Your vast
my
knowledge.
vast knowledge of each true Hollywood story. But we can start with like a softball. We'll start with a
Okay,
softball.
and easy.
We have the 27 Club, right?
Yes.
So we have
I know
artists
this one.
that die at the age of 27, and we have a ton of them. We have Jim Morrison, we have
Amy
Kurt Cobain,
Winehouse,
Yeah.
Kurt
Amy
Cobain.
Winehouse, and there's a lot more of them,
Yeah.
but and Janis Joplin,
Yeah.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger, but why?
Wait, I'm sorry. We have to back up. Heath Ledger was 27?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna be like Heath Ledger's dead.
No,
I'd be like, well, of course, Maria.
distinctly remembered where I was when I
My
found
high
out.
school shut down.
Where Heath Ledger when Heath Ledger died.
I was in play practice, and someone came out from the wings and looked at all of us and like, Heath Ledger has died.
And then everyone just
No,
ran.
and I turned around and I said, "You shut your fucking mouth. That's not even funny." And then they said to me,
Technically
"No,
he was
no, no.
28.
Okay, well, all right.
mostly.
Wait. He said no, he's really dead. And the first thing I said was, did they finish The Dark Knight? And then I felt terrible that was the first thing I said. And then I was like, oh, that's really terrible.
It is terrible, but it's also like, I guess.
Thank God we got it. It was amazing. We're still talking about it.
Yeah, no, they had
What
to
were you gonna say
refit.
then?
I'm just I did not realize that Heath Ledger was 27 because when he died, I was in high school, and so I was like, he's an adult. He's way older than me. But now I am 27, and I'm just like, what the actual fuck? Heath Ledger
He was not reading the labels on those bottles. Yeah, no.
Heath Ledger.
I think like the 27 Club is a weird curse because it's not really a curse. I just think
But
it is.
it like hovers over certain. There are people where like the media will be like, oh, they're turning 27, like
Right, and I
let's
think
see if
it's
they
like a
make it.
make or break age. I think it's like if you've lived like a hard life, you're either gonna survive your 20s or
you
not.
won't.
I'm a couple weeks away from it. Let me just say, I've been fearing it all year. Now, I'm not some notable celebrity, but shit happens. You know, I Russian doll it and just fall down the stairs a lot.
6
Don't
times
worry,
in a
they'll
row.
bring you back like they're bringing
Unexplained
back
ways.
James Dean and put you in every one of our movies.
Let's
Oh,
not.
God.
Let's
For my one
leave.
episode of AJ and the Queen, they're going to be like, no, we can put him in a non-movie because there's nobody else in Hollywood.
Back in
No
George,
one.
like Zane's corpse.
That's a pretty good LA curse, isn't it? That you're just fucking stuck in the ether of pop culture forever when
Yeah.
you want to rest in peace.
Yeah.
I think
Unless
Robin
you have
Williams.
a good estate.
Well, Robin Williams was the first to really start to flesh that out. I mean, Gene Kelly and Audrey Hepburn were selling vacuums and fucking jewelry in the 90s. And it's bizarre to think about that. I just think that that's the worst. If I ever became someone of like fame and notoriety, and it was like not even able to go out anymore.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, you hear about those people that wall themselves in, and it's like
The Howard Hughes themselves.
even now that like I'm dead, my family still has to endure me like shilling out garbage on, you know,
Yeah.
WGN 9.
That's why you get all the copyrights, folks.
Yeah, and
And
ban
all
people
your
likeness of
rights.
your
And who
yeah.
owns that now? I mean, now
Walt
you.
Disney.
Well,
Yeah.
but now you can leave instructions with your estate, and it can get super duper detailed, and like it's ridiculous.
But eventually they'll all run out.
Oh yeah.
And then you'll just be in that weird. It's scary because
It would be
with
like
what they're
the
doing in The
Happy
Irishman,
Birthday
it's like
song.
we will be like in our prime as actors per
Yeah.
se, and they'll be doing whole movies with people that are dead.
Yeah.
Or people that are just so old now they can't even really act except for getting a booth
Or
that
it'll be
voice a
like
few things.
in BoJack Horseman, where he just disappears. If you're a Robert Downey Jr. type and we can't rely on you, we can use your likeness.
Yes, that was terrifying. But then
Yeah.
it's like coming true. Oh god, so that's the 27
That's the
Club.
modern like Hollywood curse.
Modern Hollywood curse. The one that's like I think most people have
I
heard
see
of,
it. Do you buy into this one? Because I do.
I kind of do.
It keeps growing though.
Is the I know they keep adding the poltergeist
Oh yeah.
curse. So
It's not just the poltergeist, because you
It's-
also have the Exorcist and the Omen
Well,
on that
those
list.
are
So that's
right?
But they're
separate. 'cause-
separate.
Yeah, because
Well,
the
they're all
Omen
different.
and Amityville has one too.
Because the Omen was like poltergeist, where things on the first movie and then the remake happened.
Yeah.
That like weren't
So
explained.
the poltergeist plague, as they call it. We
Oh,
have
good alliteration.
I know.
The plague
plague.
affected this poor little girl.
We have two of the youngest female stars dying. We have the first one is Dominic Dunn, who you might know.
Yeah.
Her dad is one of the most famous true crime writers,
Oh, wow.
journalist. He
Yeah, I was
wrote-
like, why do I know that name?
he is at the OJ trial. He was on a
Yes!
whole bunch of different stuff.
I'm listening to a very long podcast about the OJ trial. That's
Yeah. And he was one of the ones that people would actually talk to.
Mhm.
Mainly because he knew what it's like to have somebody be murdered in his
Yes.
family. So Dominic Dunn was 22 years old, and she had an ex-boyfriend that is now currently a chef in Washington State somewhere. So
Ew, no.
have fun with that. He was disgruntled, obviously, with her because they were broken up.
Wait, I'm sorry. She was the sister.
She was the older sister. I guess.
In
Okay.
the movie, yeah.
And
yeah, think about this
he
one.
came to her house and he strangled her to death in front of her house. Neighbors were trying to put hoses on him and stuff like that, and
My God.
She died at 22.
Whoa.
And then...
See, and strangling is such, like, it takes...
And she died after the first one. She died after the first.
There's enough time. There's enough time to kick in for you to realize what you're doing and stop.
Multiple minutes.
You can still stop.
Yeah,
and you choose
exactly.
Not to. It's
We also had other characters die. We had the Native American guy. He died after I think
2.
He died after the third one. He died of like the flu or something.
And it was 2 of the actresses that played the youngest daughter. The one from the first and the third. Correct.
She was in, I think, the first and the second, and I don't think she was in the third, or she might have died during the third. And she was 12 years old, and she died of septic shock because they thought she had colitis or
some sort
some
of
kind of like IBS,
GI.
and she had a blockage instead and died of sepsis.
Oh God, that's horrifying.
So in the way that I've heard it kind of grow is, and I remember someone gave a speech about urban legends in high school about this, was like,
Urban Legends?
they were, no, for Poltergeist, where they were like, the scene where the mom falls into the swimming pool and the bodies there, was like,
I know, it was a real body.
That's what I've heard and I don't believe it.
No, but in the True Hollywood Story,
they say
she is actually speaking. She's like, I've lost so many good people.
Oh, wow.
They like interview her.
The mom,
and she's like, oh, I've lost so many good friends, and it's just so tragic. And she goes, yeah, one of the things that did freak me out was I did that scene, and then we got out, and they're like, isn't that weird that they're like real? And she's like, no, that's not weird. That's like, you put me in there with a whole bunch of real bodies.
That's
like, what
disgusting.
the fuck? Why would you do that?
I heard that it was like, oh, they were accidentally like switched with the props department, and to use real corpses. I don't know if I buy that.
Well, here's the thing. At a certain point in time in history,
in filmmaking,
well, no, just in general, skulls were actually, like, skeletons were actually made out of people.
Yeah.
Like, they had...
Yeah, all this science of
with
skeletons.
tissue remains hanging off of them too.
No, they probably had to add that.
You have to treat them and dry them out and stuff, because there's
Okay.
like bone marrow.
All right, well then I buy that more instead of like a juicy cadaver being used, instead of like, it's a real, but it's like we dressed up an old skeleton.
Yeah.
That's different.
Until recent years,
It's
on
still
the Pirates of the Caribbean ride
That's
at
right.
Disneyland, they had 3 real skeletons.
And they only have one. They only have
Whoa!
one now.
I thought I heard
Oh,
Did they
really?
take
they
it
removed
down?
the one above the bed, but I heard they removed the one above the bed. That's what I heard.
That's some creepy.
But yeah, they had
ass
real.
stuff.
Well, there was
That was the way they got
This
skeletons.
is a different. It's not really a murder, but there was
Your school skeleton
like
at
a-
your school
yeah.
would be a skeleton.
There was a guy.
No, ours was plastic.
A guy who became.
That's because you're like 5. Okay.
No, there's a
No,
guy
you make a good
who
point.
became a like sideshow attraction because I forget how it happened, but he got like stuck in a ride or something and like died.
Oh god.
And they like nobody noticed
Oh,
for a really long time,
no.
and then it was like, oh, what's this? Oh shit! Here's a human skeleton.
He traveled with the dark
Yeah.
ride. You know, like it was one of those dark rides.
Yeah, and so
The
it just
inside, like the horror.
exactly.
And it
It
was
was
just
dark, and they
inside
just
of it.
thought it
Real.
was.
So those collapse too when you move them. Like, was he getting crushed in there? And then, oh
I mean,
god.
he, like,
I'm not
basically
sure, but
mummified
yeah.
himself.
Carnage.
Yeah,
They're not the
exactly.
most
It was
reliable.
super weird.
And then if you saw Hellfest, they did something very similar. It's a great movie. You should watch it.
I haven't. I'll have to check it out.
It's great. It's great no matter what Blake says.
Well,
This is directly at you, Blake. It was a great movie. I enjoyed it. I have nothing to do with the movie.
just a big
Do you
fan.
work for CBS
I'm
now?
a big fan of Hellfest.
Brilliant title.
Okay, so that's the Poltergeist one.
Poltergeist.
And there's a few more murders, but you're snurfing and are snurfing. I'm choking on Lucky Charms cinnamon vanilla.
It's the cinnamon.
The cinnamon.
It's very
It's
dry
sneezy.
throat.
Well, it's like that cinnamon challenge that I never wanted to do because that's stupid.
I did it. And I got it down and I didn't cough. I did it. I did it.
Gross.
So we have the Exorcist one,
Yup.
which is, another...
Which is more just weird occurrences on set. Am I wrong? I don't think anyone
I don't think
died.
anyone was like super injured.
No, I think they did have a tragic death of, they said, Jack McGowan.
Oh, the camera? Oh.
Yeah, he died
For production.
shortly after finishing.
But that's not. It would be one thing if it was like, oh, and that spike went right through our
He
camera
died
operator.
He died of the flu.
Yeah.
He was
That's
just,
not
he was just eating in
interesting.
England, and he shouldn't have been.
Right. So that one's a little bit. I know that she
Reagan.
Reagan.
Yes.
She said she doesn't believe in curses, but she does believe. Like she's kind of a cool chick. If you ever see her interviewed, you should watch the E! True Hollywood Story.
E! A sponsor of serial killers.
Our
Featuring
parent
Linda
company.
Blair, or mentions of Linda Blair.
She's so cute. She's just so cute. Anyway, she talks about how she like broke a couple bones. And,
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
it was
very
really
physical.
intense.
But she said it was. She goes, I don't believe in. She wasn't like raised Catholic, so she didn't believe in all the
Exorcism
stuff.
shit, yeah.
But she's like, but it was a very physical role, and it took a lot out of me.
I believe that.
You know?
Oh yeah.
So there was that whole thing. There's also the Superman one,
Yeah.
which is the fact that George Reeves died of a gunshot wound.
No. Wait, no, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Christopher Reeves.
And Christopher Reeves died years later, but
Yeah.
after being paralyzed.
Thrown from a horse.
And then I guess the guy that voiced the cartoon
Yes.
died of circulatory problems at age 61.
Brandon Roth's movie was terrible, and he lost a Hollywood career because of it.
There you go.
And even in Crisis on Infinite Earth, they're just like, why are you here? You're awful. That's a curse in itself. You never want that.
And the baby from the Superman movie in 1978, when he was 14 years old, he died due to solvent abuse. I don't know what that is.
Oh God, I don't know. But
I
It
have.
sounds very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Wait, does that mean he was abusing solvents, or
Yes.
was he being abused
I'm
with
by
solvents?
solvents, yes. I don't think he was. I don't
'Cause,
think
like-
the baby was abusing.
Well, he was 14, so he could have been huffing something.
That's true.
I knew how to huff things at 14. I wasn't, but I knew how.
It was Hollywood too. It was a different time.
Different place. That's when Drew Barrymore was just doing coke everywhere.
That's what we do.
But you know, she
as child
got
actors.
off of the coffee table still every night and drove her friends home, and that's responsible.
That's admirable.
Admirable.
All right.
Please don't drive and do coke,
Don't
anyone.
drive and do coke.
Unless you're Drew Barrymore and you just know what you're doing.
Especially
That's
don't do
professional.
it.
Especially if no.
Please
Professional.
don't.
No, we also have the Omen curse, which is like Gregory Peck's plane, like almost crashed like twice while he was there. There was lightning.
Yeah,
that
don't
hit
fly
the
single
church.
engine planes. That's the
No,
that's
there was
That's
one
also
commercial.
big.
Oh, that's
one
big.
commercial flight
But I
he
was
was
gonna
about to get
say-
on crashed. He like missed his flight and it
Oh my
crashed.
God.
Yeah.
And then several of the planes carrying like one plane carrying a script and one carrying like some, I think it was the director, got hit by lightning.
Yep.
And they say like one plane a year gets hit by lightning.
yeah, it's, like,
and they
crazy
had like
rare.
3 on people involved in it
Getting
got hit by
struck.
That's some creepy shit.
and
that one
then-
still creeps me out.
That
That
one's-
movie.
This to me is the creepiest one though, I will say, is so the special
creepy.
effects guy, he got in a car accident like right after filming, and his wife was beheaded in the same
Yes.
way. He said when he woke up from the crash, he saw her head and he was like, oh my God, that's just like
In the Omen.
in the Omen.
I'm gonna have nightmares.
It's
tonight.
fucking terrifying.
So
The
that's a
Omen,
scary
when they
show.
remade it in 2006 or whatever, my dad was like, "What are you doing? This is such a dumb
Because
idea. Everyone's gonna die."
They had to release it on 6606.
I know they did.
Mm-hmm.
We were
Great
all there.
marketing gimmick. Movie's
Nicole
terrible.
Kidman was in it.
Nicole Kidman.
Some famous
Mia
one.
Farrow. Mia Farrow was in it.
In the new one?
Yeah,
Oh.
she plays the nurse.
Wait.
Oh.
The Omen.
Yeah, and
Okay,
the
okay.
dad is Liv Schreiber. And
Who
who is the mother?
Oh.
Julia Stiles.
Yes!
Yes,
I knew
it's
it was some
Julia
blonde
Stiles,
woman
yeah.
from the 90s.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty good.
It's a good
pretty
cast. It's not a
cast.
good movie. The special effects are very of the time.
I mean,
Yeah, they're
Julia
weak.
Stiles as the mom.
Who
though.
played Professor Lupin?
Oh, David P. Lewis.
He's in it. He's the
Yeah.
reporter or
of course
yeah,
he is.
yeah, something. He's something
I'm
in it.
very strangely attracted to him since
Oh.
Romeo and Juliet since I was a kid.
There was something he was
Wow,
in
that's-
recently
wow.
that, like, my boyfriend. Oh, he's in Fargo. He's in the most recent season of
I haven't
Fargo.
seen Fargo.
He is gross.
Oh.
Like, physically, there's a lot of him eating, and it's gross.
Oh, That's
very
a
unpleasant.
Does he eat loud?
No, he just you watch his mouth as he chews, and then he has
you'll hear it
disorder
even if it's on
thing.
mute.
Is stuff gonna come out of his mouth?
That's gross.
I mean, there's an eating disorder thing, so then there's a whole bathroom situation. Yeah.
Oh.
You might need to just watch this new season then.
I might have to start with the first season.
You don't actually.
Well,
it's anthology.
they're anthology.
Oh, it's
yeah.
anthology.
No, I'm just you just seem very interested from her few
asking about
snippets.
Listen, I just
Dream
saw
of
Queen
Slim
and
in this.
Slim, and part of the Queen and Slim movie was he ate like a pig, and then when he started liking her, he stopped eating like a pig, and I was like, you son of a bitch. Now I know that every boyfriend that drove me fucking crazy could just stop if he loved me.
They just didn't love you.
Or if they shot a cop and then became.
No, this is a separate
beside the
storyline. It's a separate storyline.
Okay, separate storyline. Separate
storyline. So the Amityville.
What's this one? I've not heard this one before.
The only one that really stands out to me in the Amityville Curse is the fact that in the remake,
the one with Ryan Reynolds,
okay. On the first day of shooting, they found somebody floating on set.
That's horrifying.
What?
Everything else
that
is that people woke up at weird
so
times and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah. I think they also said that in The Conjuring, and they said that about something else, and I was like, I think that's just when people. If you're reading a script over and over again in the time, in the script it says you wake up every night at 666, or you wake up at 3.
If you're waking up at any time at the same time, unprompted, that's pretty alarming.
It's pretty alarming, but if you're doing a play or a movie or a TV show where that character is waking up at 3:33 and you're memorizing that every day, I feel like subconsciously you're like, I'm gonna wake up at 3:33.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just
No, you're right.
We could look into it in a sinister way.
This is not about Amityville or The Conjuring, but there's also The Crow, which wasn't so much cursed.
I don't think it's the Crow that's cursed. I think it's the Lee family. Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Because even Bruce Lee, the way he died was
not all up
which
and up.
sucked because he took aspirin. He never took painkillers. He took painkillers once in his life and went into a coma over an aspirin allergy he never knew he had.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That's
I didn't know that.
Fucked up. And then years later, his son is shot on set.
Yeah, in a mishap.
Prop malfunction, yes.
Yeah.
Blanks.
And the guy that actually shot it, he died a couple years ago, and he was always I felt like shit.
Oh,
yeah.
Because he killed him.
They say that's why they give.
But it's not his
firing.
fault.
No, but he killed him.
But it's fault at all.
That's why they give firing squads. Some of them get blanks and some of them
They
don't.
always do. It'll be 5 rifles, and 3 of them will be loaded, and 2 of them will be blanks.
Are you?
And you just don't know.
Firing squad?
No, I only know that they only do that in Washington State. Is the only state of the 50 that still has it, and that's how they do it. You get called in for your civil service.
Actually, I think Washington State just got rid of the capital punishment.
Well, then for the longest time, that was the state that did it. Maybe there was one other one in the north.
Well, that's because New Hampshire, until they banned it, you could get hung.
That was in a handful of states,
yeah.
And I mean, they still electrocute people in several states.
I don't want to do any of that. And as we know, I don't believe in the capital. I don't believe in the capital.
Just don't believe it.
I don't believe in the capital.
Not real. Washington D.C. doesn't exist.
I mean, it's named after me, but
Is it real? Is it there?
Is it? Answer me! And just Judy Garland screaming into the night.
Answer me! No, I don't believe in capital punishment, so I think it's all stupid. Sorry.
I do subscribe to the Lucille Bluth. We need to take all the murderers and
all
the
the
rapists and put them on the island until there's one murdered rapist, one rapist murdered.
Yeah, and then it doesn't matter because.
But do you know they did that before? They gave.
And then it became Super Island,
it's
didn't
called
it?
Australia.
Oh. Well, but you know what? The truth was, we didn't really regulate them.
No,
and they turned
shoved
themselves
them there.
into. It is an island full of criminals, though. I mean,
that's how
it's an island full of criminals and the indigenous people of Australia
that they murdered.
That they just pushed out and murdered horribly.
Just like the Native Americans. I forgot about the Native Australians.
No, but Australia and Canada, we're very bad and have always been and are still very bad at dealing with our indigenous people. Australia and Canada are fucking gold medal at being bad.
Yeah.
At dealing with their and letting their indigenous people.
In the way that, like, we don't support them, and we also, like, don't look into their crimes as much as we should.
We sort of try to segregate them from the rest of our society. But, like, Australia and Canada will, like, actively, in the past, have murdered. Like, in the 20th century. Like, this is not, like,
taken away
16
their
something.
kids
Yeah.
and
shipped off. They
like,
banned all of their
camps.
tribal practices, so they couldn't do anything.
And here's where it fits into this. They've never been able to get a movie about it made.
No,
so
not
many in
one.
pre-production and turnaround hell.
What is it? The Australia has a couple movies about it.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Fences.
Rabbit Fences and Australia itself, the movie.
Yes.
And that, I think the reason that one got made is because, oh my god, Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman both
are from Australia.
But they also both adopted Aboriginal kids.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Personal thing for them.
Good.
That's not a Hollywood curse. This is an Australian curse.
Fun Hollywood story about Australia.
That's just humanity. That's a humanitarian curse. What?
No, humanity is a curse.
It's humanity.
Humanity just is a curse. Leave
Anybody
it at
else know any curses?
Just like Hollywood off the top of my head?
Yeah.
Well, there's the Los Feliz murder house.
Oh, yeah.
And there's the Black Dahlia murder in itself, and in that it's unsolved. And wasn't there...
It's unsolved.
Is it unsolved? Have you heard that? Have you listened to that podcast?
No. No, she was from my hometown, though.
Oh, she was?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she was from my hometown.
There's a podcast from the family that thinks that their father
was the murderer.
And they made I don't know what channel it is, TBS maybe, with oh god, what's his name from Star Trek?
I need way more.
Jean-Luc Picard.
Holly, where are you when I need you? Chris
Patrick
Pine.
Stewart.
Aha!
Chris Pine plays a detective that's trying to find it.
Oh,
So
right.
They
I've
pretty
seen
much
ads
think
for
that
it,
they pretty much think that this guy did it.
Yeah,
and he fled the country.
Shortly
soon
after. Gotcha.
You need to, right?
Well, there is
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now was a heavily cursed film set.
Well, that was because Marlon Brando was literally eating the set. They couldn't put it up fast enough. I don't know if you knew this.
I didn't know he ate set.
They say that he would eat anything if they ran out of hot dogs.
I heard he also would have sex with anything too.
That's what I heard
Nothing,
too.
yeah.
I mean, Richard Pryor's was
that's
willing
not
to
the
spill
same.
that tea so quickly. They're like, "Did he do this?" She's like, "Oh yeah, he had sex with him." We're like, "What is going on?"
It's amazing.
It's wild.
But Martin Sheen had a heart attack while filming and almost died before being able to complete the rest of his filming.
It's again because he saw Marlon Brando eating the set. And that's just
Marlon
shocking
Brando
in
was
itself.
trying to eat him.
Francis Ford Coppola, who directed it, lost like a ton of weight because he self-financed the film in the 70s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the working conditions were just so... Because they filmed in the Philippines, which, like, if you know... I think there's the... Philippines, which are rough. It's one of those places where it is just pouring.
It was
6
it
months
was
out of
a
the year.
historically long shoot because it was self-financed and not under a studio, and because of that, like a hurricane did wipe out their sets.
Yeah, the crew
midway
had to
through.
wash their wounds with vodka
Yeah.
because they just didn't have access to appropriate medical
The
care.
fact that you have to wash your wounds at all
On a film set when there should be no
And
wounds.
I know that like they were borrowing helicopters from the Filipino government, and
which is like
they came in
hard
one
and
day and
sketchy.
like had to go attack some island. They're like, nope, get out.
Sorry.
These are our helicopters.
Bye.
We need them now for like
military shit.
activity. Yeah, exactly.
A crewman died on set during production.
People die on set all the time. Like, look at the Twilight Zone.
I was just gonna say
I
that that was kind of like a, it didn't really.
The Landises, man.
And
Charlie
Sheen.
Leave John alone.
This is also
Should I?
No.
Charlie Sheen.
I'm not saying shit about Max. He's in his own grave. Little shit. Got what you deserve. Go ahead.
Charlie Sheen was raised on the set of Apocalypse Now. Martin Sheen
Well,
brought
there
him
you go.
there.
There you
and
go.
was like, here you go.
So much.
Play with these WMDs.
I mean, there's been so many, like, so we have the Twilight Zone, but a lot of it's neglect. We also have, like, Nosferatu, which was supposed to be, like, everybody died on set.
I could list, like, 30 movies where animals died because we had no oversight on animals.
But people, too.
Yeah.
Like, Nosferatu was supposed to say, they
they made a movie about the movie making of the movie because so many of
it was so unbelievable and ridiculous.
Yeah, people like died, and then
The Shadow of Vampire.
Shadow of Vampire.
It's a great movie.
So they have like all kinds of horrible things, and then like you have James Bond as a series, like this like. Stuntmen die all the fucking time. Like, it sucks so bad.
Well, and what's interesting is that, like, I think there is such a fascination that people, like, want more. And they will be, they're so quick to be like, and have you heard the Melrose Place curse? And it's like, okay, they were all into pills and wine.
I haven't.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's nothing.
They were winos. There was no curse.
What is it?
Yeah. We'll drink this bottle and you'll find out.
They did think, I think they think that Rosemary's Baby is also cursed because...
Well, any Roman Polanski film is cursed automatically.
Well, and also
the
building that it was filmed at, John Lennon was shot in front of it.
Oh.
And they were best friends, him and Roman Polanski.
That's
awful. Were they really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
John Lennon's not a good person.
Yeah.
He wasn't a good person.
What are you saying? Are you?
Yes.
Just cuts to black and I'm gone.
No, and I think the like
the Cookie Crisp in my room was a sign. They were warning me. The bees.
We're slowly.
Some Wicker Man ending.
The fact that most of these movies are about like supernatural or religious things, I think lends itself to people being, even on set, people being like, "Ooh, it's a curse."
Yeah.
Or like, something's afoot.
Because sets are boring as fuck.
It's afoot, yeah.
And everyone just wants to make up stories on set and just pass the time better.
I mean, it's entertaining.
So it's the Warner Brothers backlog curse.
Well, that burned down twice, so that's actually cursed.
It's more entertaining when somebody doesn't die, and it's just like,
I woke up and I got the chills.
That's what Corey Feldman said after he woke up on that. Never mind, that was a bad. That shouldn't have gone there, but.
What? That's not even the one who died.
No, they were both like molested, and that like it became like
I have
like
a couple
thing.
curses that I caused.
What?
I have a couple curses that I caused.
Like voodoo dolls and like on rivals that you.
So when I was a kid, Jonathan Brandis was like so cute, right? And Jonathan Brandis hit me with his car on set when I was walking to set on picket fences. He hit me with his car, and then years later.
How old were you?
I was probably like 7 or 8. And so then he jumps out of his car and he's like, I'm so sorry. My mom's like, fucking you hit my kid, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I was like, please stop screaming. He's glorious. He's beautiful. Years later, he hung himself. Now this is the weird part, right? I was dating this guy and we were, just reminiscing about stuff, and I told him that story because, Jonathan was, like, my best friend, and I was there the night that he hung himself.
So
and he was like, we were playing video games, he walked into the other room and just hung himself. Wow. So that's my first curse. Okay? Second curse. Did I just freak you out?
Yeah, I'm, like, a little scared. Like, is there anyone else in this house? Where'd the dog go?
So the second one was, me and my sister were fighting in the car, and I was like, Luther Vandross sucks, right? And she's like,
oh no, you killed Luther Vandross?
She's like, stop talking about Luther Vandross. I was like, no, he fucking sucks. He's the worst. He's the worst singer. He's like, whatever. She's like, you say one more fucking thing, and Barry White's gonna die. And I said 4 more things, and then literally the radio breaks in and it goes, Barry White has passed away.
You killed Barry White!
Oh my god! And I literally both of us burst into tears.
I have one of these.
Okay.
I've got one. All right. My friend says that I killed Anton Yelchin. So let me explain. Yeah. I don't really get starstruck, but I do sometimes, and I like really like. And he's like, he was just a couple years older than me, and I was like loved everything that he'd done. I was at Bob's Big Boy at like 3:30 in the morning, and it was pretty dead. And he was just sitting at the counter with this pretty blonde, and I didn't recognize him when we walked in. And we were sitting at like the booth where we could see where he was sitting at the countertop. My one friend was like, "That's Anton Yelchin," and I just couldn't stop, like looking over at him, like, and I kept just like glancing and being like extremely obvious. Trying not to be. And my friend was like, and as we were paying, I like looked over and just like really gave him like just like looked at him, and he kind of like looked at me too, and then we left. My friend was like, "What was that death stare about?" And then like he died like a couple like week and a half later, and my friend was like, "You killed him."
No.
Yeah.
Jeep did.
Yeah, I know. I was like, no, we got accidentally run over.
No, it was a Final Destination situation where the Jeep was fine, but then it wasn't fine.
Yeah,
and an invisible force moved through it, knocking off.
2 Jeeps. I literally own 2 Jeeps.
Had they been recalled?
No, if my car was
Don't park
recalled,
uphill.
I would put it somewhere. I would not
Well,
have it.
look what happened. Now the Yelchin family is like suing Jeep as well. They should.
Maybe they shouldn't.
I think they should.
That's fair.
On that note.
If you or your loved one has been injured by Jeep, you can contact the number below.
Class action
I'd like to thank Holly for getting us our 3rd bowl so that we can have guests.
Thank you.
Thank you, Holly.
At Holly Amos 22 if you want to follow her.
Wow.
If you like Star Trek
and nothing else.
Disney.
Oh.
And the movie Speed.
Oh my God! No, I love Speed.
She just found out that Speed is now a Disney property, and she's making Speed ears. So look for that on her.
What's Speed ears?
They're like Disney ears.
Disney ears that are deeply Speed.
Oh, amazing! I want one of those.
She'll make them for you.
That's great.
Where can people find you? Online.
Oh,
or in real life. It's really up to you.
Don't contact me in real life. It'll only scare me that if you saw this show, it was like,
Leave
hi, it'll scare me.
If you see him out in the world, give him Cookie Crisp.
I hate Twitter. I am on Twitter though, at Guzeldereli. I'm also on Instagram, at Zeyner27. Zeyner. Put an ER at the end, Zeyner. That's what my southern relatives call me. So,
that's adorable.
Yeah. You can look me. I'm there.
You can find us at Pod Serial Killer on all social media. I don't know what all social media is, but you know what I'm saying.
The social
like
media.
Old Town Road.
Ooh. And then podserialkiller@gmail.com. I almost got it this time.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
Email us, rate us, follow
Review,
us, like
etc.
us, blah blah blah. You can find me at Anastasia W on Twitter, at Anastasia Washington on
Did we forget any of your favorite Hollywood curses?
Anastasia Wash on Instagram.
Tell us about them. We like to hear about weird Hollywood curses.
Yes, tell us. Talk to us, please.
Or if you bought the Lucky Charms Frosted Cinnamon Toast Crunch and you hated it, tell us that we're wrong. I thought it was quite good.
I love this.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
And you can find Maria,
Yes, you can find me at Maria Immortal on Twitter.
sometimes. I'm going to say a knife on the table for the cereal for me.
Knife up.
Knife up.
Yeah.
And
knife
down for all
murder.
curses and murders.
Unless they're beneficial. I'm going to do knife on the table for curses because I don't know that I've been cursed and I'd be willing to curse someone, so don't cross me. Don't become an enemy of mine.
Keeping
or a
all the
competitor.
options open.
Why not? I got nothing else going for me. Maybe a curse is in order for 2020.
Sell your soul to the devil. We'll see what happens.
Knife down for his obsession with giving people curses.
Knife on the table.
Knife.
Very up down kind of guy.
All right, you guys. All right, thanks for tuning in.
Bye.